two-part documentary is human trafficking, and it is a very big issue in today's world. It's basically physical, verbal, and sexual abuse. It's slavery. A lot of people don't think slavery exists in the world today, but it does. There's actually more slaves in the world, like, right now, today, than ever before in human history. And I found that on the A21 website, which is a nonprofit organization. They are a very big organization. The person who created that organization is actually her name is Christine Kane, and she's a Christian speaker, and she was actually sexually abused when she was little growing up. She has an incredible backstory to her childhood and what she has been through, and that's why she created this. And it's just like really touching to actually hear her backstory and everything, that she's been through like similar things to what these human trafficker victims go through. And she's on a mission to save all the human trafficked victims, so that they are saved and they're restored. They're not just rescued, but they are rescued and restored. So they are sent back into daily life with knowing that they are so valued and loved, and they are stronger than they know they are. And it's just a really good organization. So the human trafficking industry is actually $150 billion industry. It's a very big industry. It's really bad. It's gone up extremely high in numbers. It's one of the biggest growing industries in the world, or like around the world. And 1% of people that are being human traffickers, victims, they are, I worded that really weird, 1% are ever rescued. So, excuse me, 1% of human trafficked victims are saved. 1% out of that huge industry. So that means nobody's really doing a very good job at saving anybody. Nobody's doing that great of a job rescuing these people. And the A21 Foundation's constantly rescuing people. That's why I really like this foundation. They're determined to save every single person that is going through that very big problem in today's world. They mentioned, in quotes, "We see the one, we fight for the one, and we sacrifice to restore the one." They're basically repeating, like, over and over, like, on their website, like, what's about the organization and where they go, who are they, what it is about, and everything like that. They are all about saving each and every person and caring for each and every person. They're not just like, okay, let's save a bunch of people. They're concerned on restoring and rescuing each and every person that is being trafficked. And I think that's really incredible that they care about every single person, because some organizations, they just care about, like, okay, we saved them, they're good. But they're still broken inside, and they're still going through the process of recovery and still trying to build up their self-esteem again. They're still trying to get past, like, sexual abuse and what people have told them, and verbal abuse like that, death threats, like, etc. like that. And it's a lot to go through, and it's a lot to recover from, and so that's why it takes so long. And I'm really, like, happy to see that A21 cares about each and every individual. I think it's really incredible. So that's about A21. They're a nonprofit organization. They work very closely with the law enforcement. Excuse me. They provide access to every rescuer that they have. They have health care, they have access to housing and job opportunities and education and health care, things that every person should be given. And there's 12 offices in 11 countries. All of the offices are stopping human trafficking before they are started. So they're getting ahead of the game. They're getting one step ahead of the human traffickers to stop them and before the victims are hurt. So there's teams of A21, and they're called A teams, and so they go out on the mission to go out and save victims and things like that. They get involved with the whole organization. Excuse me. 6 of the offices provide restoration and aftercare to the victims of human trafficking. 7 of them focus on fierce intervention. So it's a really good organization. Even on their Instagram, like, I know that's really random to bring up, but it's actually really, like, good to look into, because usually each day, like, I follow them on my Instagram, and usually each day on my feed, I see something about them rescuing somebody. It'll say, like, woman rescued in, like, whatever country, and it'll explain a little backstory, and then, like, where they are right now, like, in means of, like, mentally and emotionally, like, now they are stronger, now they're more built up and everything. And that really, like, just kind of lifts my spirits a little bit, just because it's one more person saved, and it's one more person that is free from that terrible industry. And so I really like that. We will insert a clip of the Instagram. Probably, I have it pulled up on my laptop, so I can put that in. So, so I have the A21 Instagram pulled up on my laptop. This is their Instagram. Their posts are pretty, like, so it talks about, like, everything about the rescuers and victims that they save. So, like, right here, I can't read it because it's cropped out, but it talks about, like, their story and everything. So right here you can, like, see, like, kind of, like, parts of it and everything like that. So it's really interesting reading these, because you have no idea what these people go through, and it's really incredible to hear their story. It's just really inspiring to see what these people go through, and to see them come out stronger than they have ever been before. Okay, so a couple stories that I found on the A21 website from personal people. I wrote down a couple, put in quotes, because some of it I did get, like, directly from the summary of their story, and some of it I kind of just summarized, obviously. But you get the main idea. So from the this is all from the A21 website. The credit goes to them. So this says Carly's story. At 14 years old, she was forced into acts with people her father's age. She was beaten, starved, tortured. Innocence was stolen. The police rescued her from her traffickers. When she arrived at the A21 shelter, she was quiet and distant due to lack of trust to the surrounding people. As continuing through the A21 program, she has become a warm, loving person. Her innocence was being restored, and her confidence was coming back. She mentioned that this was the best time of her life. Carly was free, and she discovered her past did not define her. She is strong, beautiful, valued, and she walked back into the world as one who had beaten in the odds. A survivor had been given a second chance to dream again. And this was just March 8th, 2017. And that's just on the website, but on their Instagram, they're constantly, like, updating it. Even on Christine Kane, who created this organization, she's always posting about it too on her Instagram. And it's just, like, really cool to see that they're always saving people. It's not just, like, a temporary thing, but they're always on the move. They're, like, really determined to save each and every person who is being in the human trafficking business. And I really admire their work and what they do to save every victim. Another story I got, this was March 7th, 2017. This is also from the A21 website. All of this is from the A21 website. At 10 years old, this is Grace's story. At 10 years old, she was abused at the hands of a trusted family member. Abuse changed how she saw herself in the mirror and presented herself to others. Her self-esteem deteriorated. She fell into a battle of drugs and an eating disorder. Her life was falling apart, and she wanted to make a change and start over. She met a man in town who offered her a job, and in her vulnerable state of being, she accepted the job. She soon realized she was lied to, and she fell in the trap of human trafficking. Most of the people I've noticed in this story, I've seen a pattern that most of these people are being tricked into human trafficking. So it's a very sneaky industry, which is makes it harder to, like, catch the traffickers, obviously. So it's a lot of work to I'd imagine. Obviously, I don't know, but it's a lot of work to catch them because it's such a hidden industry. But it's also, like, right in front of us, if that makes sense. Like, it can be right, like, under our noses, but we don't realize it, kind of the thing. And so, something to keep in mind.
The first picture that you see shows the amount of people detected with human trafficking between women, men, and girls. As you can see, women definitely have the most percentage. The next picture shows the actual numbers according to mainly children and others as well. Some of them that are victims, and most of them show children's. this one is a statistic picture that shows and has to do with the numbers of people who have been convicted and who are victims of human trafficking as well. And then we also found facts as well. So the average cost of a slave is $90. Trafficking primarily involves exploitation, which comes in many forms. An average of 80% of human trafficking has to do with sexual exploitation. 19% involves labor exploitation. There are approximately 20 to 30 million slaves in the world. 600,000 to 800,000 people are trafficked across international borders every year, of which 80% are female and half are children.